Hello, McAuliffe families. My name is Natalie Barrios. I'm the assessment coordinator at McAuliffe. I work alongside Miss Everett, who is your child's ELD teacher. Miss Everett and I wanted to share some information with you all before the students go to winter break. We'll be going over each of the items listed here, and at the end, I will give you a survey link, so if you have any questions, we can answer those for you. Friday, we have a fun day planned for the kids. We do have a half day. Students will be in school from 9:10 to 1:30. The office also wanted us to remind you that there will be no early checkouts on Friday. All students will be away at the field trip, so they can't do any early checkouts. If your student needs to leave early for an appointment, or you need to pick them up early to head out of town, our recommendation is just to keep them at home. If you have marked on your student's permission slip that they are not coming in on Friday, you don't need to take any further action. If you haven't turned the permission slip in and you know your student won't be attending on Friday, please make sure to call into the main office to excuse your student. Also on Friday, students who are attending school will be going to Harkins Theater in Northfield to the movies. Students will watch either Elf or Spider-Man, depending on which one they selected. The permission slips for the movies were due on December 10th. If your student hasn't turned in a permission slip and they want to attend the field trip, they need to do that as soon as possible today. If they come on Friday and don't have a permission slip turned in, they will unfortunately not be allowed to attend. There was also a $10 fee for the field trip, but if you need a scholarship, those are available to anyone who requests them. Starting next week, students will be on winter break from December 20th through January 3rd. Classes will resume on January 4th, and it will be a red day for students. We also wanted to remind you all that access testing is coming up in January. Access is a language proficiency assessment the state requires us to administer to our multilingual learners. The test is administered online, and there are 4 domains within the assessment. There's a listening test, a reading test, a writing test, and a speaking test. We split the test up into 3 sessions so students aren't missing too much class time. Students will take the test in this order with me. They'll take listening and reading first for about 75 to 80 minutes. Then I'll pull them a separate time and they'll take the writing assessment, which takes about 65 minutes. And then the last assessment that I'll pull them for is the speaking test, and that takes about 20 minutes. I don't have a schedule ready quite yet, but I will send that out over the break. The testing window is January 10th through February 11th, and all that means is that those are the dates that we're allowed to administer the test within. I will only be pulling your students 3 times to take the assessment, so you don't have to worry about them taking the test every day or anything like that. To follow up with access information, we wanted to talk to you all about how your student can exit the MLL program. There are several factors for our MLL students to completely exit the program. It's not something that's done easily or fast. It can take up to 3 years for a student to completely exit the program. The steps to exit the MLL program are to take the access assessment, redesignate, and that just means that the student no longer has to take ELD or the access tests. And then they move into monitor year 1 or monitor year 2. And then the last step is after the 2nd year of being monitored, a student is eligible to exit the program. We wanted to go through the requirements of each step to be transparent with you and your student, just so they know what to expect. For a student to be eligible for redesignation, they must get a 4 overall and a 4 in literacy, which is the reading and writing score combined for access. We usually receive the access scores in April or May. So those scores that we receive, the student would be eligible for redesignation in the fall of the next school year, depending on when we receive other assessment results, for example, CMAS or end of the year reading assessments and things like that. If your student is eligible for redesignation, the district will send us a form to complete and submit evidence of grade level proficiency. Redesignation, again, is when the student shows proficiency through access and grade level proficiency in reading and writing. And remember, redesignation means they're no longer in the ELD class, or they don't have to take the access assessment, but they still are in the MLL program. To qualify for redesignation, a student must get a 4 overall and a 4 in literacy on Access, and we must submit 2 additional pieces of evidence, one for writing and one for reading, that shows grade level proficiency. We can use any of the assessments or scores listed on the slide, and if needed, we can mix and match those scores. For example, if the student has a proficient writing score on the CMAS assessment, but not for reading, and for reading, we do have a proficient score in SRI, I can use the CMAS assessment for writing and then the SRI assessment for reading as evidence. So if the student qualifies, they will continue on to the Monitor Year 1 and 2 step for the next 2 years. Following redesignation, the student will move into the Monitor Year 1 step. Monitor Year 1 and 2 are just that. The student is in mainstream classes, but midway through the year, the district sends the school a monitor form, and that's just to make sure that the student is maintaining grade level proficiency. The monitor form asks us to provide evidence of proficiency in reading, writing, and one more core content class. And those include math, science, and social studies. So we can choose any of those 3 to show proficiency. We can use the same assessments and scores as evidence for the monitors as we did for redesignation. The flip side to this is if during the monitors a student doesn't meet the criteria, they can be placed back in ELD and have to start the process all over again. If after 2 years a student can maintain grade level proficiency, they will be eligible to exit the MLL program. The exit requirements are exactly the same as Monitor Year 1 and Monitor Year 2. As I was saying, the exit requirements are exactly the same as they are for the Monitor Years 1 and 2. So as long as your student can show grade level proficiency in reading, writing, and one core content class when we receive that exit form, we can submit the evidence to the district and the student will completely be exited from the MLL program. If the student can't provide evidence to the district showing grade level proficiency, unfortunately, they will be put back in ELD and have to start the process all over again. So it's important for kids, once they redesignate, to keep up on their grades and assessment scores to show the district that we have evidence for them to maintain that they've maintained proficiency in reading, writing, and at least one core content class. I know that this was a lot of information to go over. In the email that was provided to you, there is a short link to a very short survey. In the survey, you can submit any questions or concerns that you have about this presentation, and Ms. Everett or I will get back to you. I also included the slides with the email in case you want to read through the information, because I know it is a lot. If you do have a few minutes to take to complete the survey, we would really appreciate it. And any students, parents who complete the survey, we will have a special treat for your student when they return from break. That's really all that we have for you today. If you ever need to get in contact with us, I have provided Ms. Everett's and my email addresses here. Email us anytime. We don't mind. We love and adore your kids, and we want to thank you for your time in listening to this presentation and sharing your kids with us. We hope you all have a wonderful break with your families, and we look forward to seeing the kids back in January. Thank you so much.